Everyone, welcome to this explainer. Today we're doing something really cool. I'm basically going to be your right seat instructor, walking you through the critical step-by-step procedure for safely practicing a power-on stall recovery. If you've spent any time in the cockpit, you know that understanding the absolute outer limits of your aircraft's performance isn't just about passing a check ride. It's literally vital for your safety. So today, we're going to break down exactly how to intentionally configure for, recognize, and seamlessly recover from a power-on stall. Just like a pre-flight briefing, here is our flight plan for today. We're going to cover understanding power-on stalls, run through our pre-maneuver safety checks, approach the stall, recognize those symptoms, and finally, go over the recovery technique. Let's jump in.
Section 1. Understanding power-on stalls. What and why? Before we physically practice the maneuver, we really need to grasp the aerodynamics of what happens when your aircraft loses lift while the engine is pushing hard.
So think about your standard power-off stall. Now compare that to a power-on stall. It's a completely different beast. You've got a much greater imbalance of lift, a stronger yawing moment, and honestly, a ton of elevator power. But here's the crazy part, the real danger. That applied power actually masks the typical warning signs. The buffet, it's just not as obvious. That eerie quietness you usually get in a stall? Gone, because the engine is absolutely roaring. This makes the actual brake way more sudden and pronounced.
Here is our roadmap for the whole maneuver. We start by establishing an artificially high nose attitude with the power on. Then we ride it literally right to the edge of the stall brake. And finally, we execute the recovery phase to get those wings flying again with as little altitude loss as possible.
Moving on to Section 2. Pre-maneuver safety checks. Setting up for success. You never just pull the nose up without a plan. Safety is entirely about preparation. To keep us perfectly structured, we're going to track our progress through a simple 4-step procedural checklist, starting right at the top with Step 1, prior to entry.
The foundation here is exerting total, firm control from the very start. So before you even think about changing your pitch, you absolutely must execute your pre-aerobatic hassle check. That's height, airframe, security, engine, location, and lookout. You've got to vigorously clear the area visually. And you also need to lock in a nominated heading. Keep it within 10 degrees. Or, if you're practicing in a turn, establish a steady 20-degree bank angle.
Section 3. Approaching the stall. Execution. The area is completely clear, our heading is locked in, so it's time to deliberately configure the aircraft to approach the stall. Checking off our list, we are right into Step 2. This is where we put the plane into that precarious, high-angle position, simulating a situation where a pilot might be trying to climb way too aggressively.
Okay, so in this execution phase, leave the power applied. While you hold your heading or bank perfectly steady, smoothly and continuously pull back on the control column to maintain your altitude. Try to keep it within 100 feet. Because you've got all that engine thrust helping keep you aloft, you're going to end up with a much higher nose attitude than you'd ever see in a standard power-off stall. I mean, it's going to look and feel totally unnaturally steep.
Section 4. Recognizing the symptoms. Sensory signposts. Now we really need to tune our senses into the cockpit to catch the physical signs that the wing is finally giving up its lift.
Moving right down our list, here's Step 3. This is all about sensory recognition right before the brake. Your situational awareness has to be at its absolute peak right now. You have got to pay intense attention here. The stall warning horn or buzzer, it's going to start blaring. You will physically feel the airframe shuddering around you because the smooth airflow over the wings is separating and turning turbulent. And then, thanks to that extreme high nose attitude we talked about, brace yourself for a really sharp nose drop and an immediate high sink rate.
Pay really close attention to how the flight controls feel in these final seconds. Even as your airspeed drops, the propeller slipstream is blowing fast air straight over your rudder and elevator, so they actually stay somewhat effective. But your ailerons, out on the wings, they are going to feel incredibly mushy and unresponsive, like stirring soup. You've got to be ready because this exact setup very often leads to a strong, sudden wing drop right at the stall.
Section 5. The recovery technique. Regaining control. The second those severe symptoms hit, muscle memory has to take the wheel to aggressively unstall those wings with minimal altitude loss.
And that brings us to the final and literally the most important step, the recovery procedure itself. This is the part that saves lives.
Your immediate action is everything.
You absolutely must simultaneously release that back pressure, because that's what actually unstalls the wing, while making sure full power is applied to arrest your sink rate. Once the wing is unstalled and flying again, smoothly coordinate your rudder and ailerons to roll the wings level, lower the nose back to a standard attitude, and simply resume normal flight. We practice these aggressive, high-pitch maneuvers high up in the sky for one very simple, very unforgiving reason: avoiding a stall near the ground. An inadvertent stall on departure while you're climbing out, it just doesn't leave you enough altitude to pull off the recovery we just learned. So I want to leave you with this question to think about the next time you strap in. What daily, disciplined habits will you build in the cockpit to ensure you never, ever lose situational awareness during a low-altitude climb?